Let's get into quadratic word problems, but this time we're going to be in vertex form. So we did this with factored form before. Now we're focused on vertex form. So I want to just review, how do we get the x-intercepts, the y-intercept, and the vertex? Because remember, those are the three key features of the graph, right? If we know, let's just say we have an upside down quadratic, and we know it could also be right side up, but if it's upside down, looking at the y-intercept, we know that's the initial value, then we had the vertex is the highest point, and then the x-intercept is that ending value. So we should know how to identify these within the context of the word problem. And remember, the vertex, big question, do we need the x or the y for it? So how do we find these three key features with vertex form? So I gave an example of a function in vertex form. Y equals 2 times x minus 3 squared minus 16. So let's start with the x-intercepts. So remember, with x-intercepts, that means that the y is 0. So I'm going to take that function and set it equal to 0. So I'm going to take the 2 times x minus 3 squared minus 16, set it equal to 0. And I know you could just graph it in Desmos, get your answers. But we spent the entire last section just on how to solve these. So this gives 2 times x minus 3 squared equals 16. Hang on, let me change this problem. That's not going to work out exactly. Let me change this to a 32. So work out a little better. So we're going to add that 32 to the other side instead. And then now let's divide the 2. And this is 16. So then we're going to square both sides. And remember, that's where that plus or minus comes in at. So you get x minus 3 equals plus or minus 16. So let's split that into two cases. X minus 3 equals 16. X minus 3 equals negative 16. Solve each one. X equals 19 and x equals negative 13. So it's quite a bit of work to do x-intercepts given vertex form. That's the hardest part, but like I said, we spent that whole last section just on that idea. Y-intercept is easy. You just make your x equal 0. So for this one, y is going to equal 2 times 0 minus 3 squared minus 32. So just showing there that I made the x is 0. Simplify this answer. So just some PEMDAS. 0 minus 3 is negative 3 squared. Negative 3 squared is positive 9. 2 times 9 is 18. Minus 32 is going to be negative 14. So that's the y-intercept. Pretty simple to find that. Not too bad. I know it is kind of lengthy, but really easy process. And then last, for the vertex, this is called vertex form for a reason. This is going to be the easiest form to find the vertex with. So notice, because it's a minus inside, and we did this in the last video here, how to find the vertex from vertex form. So that's going to go to the right 3, and then it's going to go down 32. So it goes to the right, so that's a positive 3. And then that goes down 32, so negative 32. So our vertex is going to be the ordered pair 3, negative 32. So you just have to pay attention, do we need the x or the y value in the word problems. So let's go ahead and look at these examples. So what is the height of the object at the time of launch? At the time of launch is our initial value. It's talking about that value there. So we just plug the 0 into our time, plug our 0 in, find that y-intercept, right? So h of x simplify it. Negative 5 times 16 plus 180. Negative 5 times 16, that's negative 50 plus another 30, negative 80. Plus 180.
Attention, Hopeville High School. Mrs. Arevalo, would you please visit me shortly? Mrs. Arevalo, repeat, please visit Mr. Arevalo in the front office. Also, for HHS, Custodian Richie, would you please swing by the front office? Repeat, Custodian Richie, would you please swing by the front office? We could use a little bit of your assistance. Thank you, and fight on for Hopeville.
All right, so continuing. Sorry, I don't want to redo the video just because of that. How many seconds after being launched, will the object hit the ground? Now this is asking for that x-intercept, right? Because it gets launched up into the air, comes back down, hits the ground. So this one, we're just going to set it equal to 0. So we're going to set the negative 5 times x minus 4 squared plus 180 equal to 0 and solve it. You can go ahead and do that one on your own time. Remember, you might end up with a positive and negative answer. So you're going to go with the positive answer because we can't go back in time. How many seconds after being thrown will the stone reach a maximum height? So now we're looking for that vertex, right? So we know this one shifts to the right 1, and it goes up 45. So our vertex coordinate is 1, 45. Which one is the seconds, though? This is asking for seconds, which is going to be the x value, because how many seconds will cause the maximum? If it asked for the actual height, you would answer the 45. And that's what this one's going to do. What is the maximum height of the stone? So we already went over that one. It goes to the right 1 and up 45. So that maximum height is 45, which occurs after 1 second.